Hey everyone, you're listening to the Pondering Points podcast. I am your host, Apostle MB. As a pastor, politician, podcaster, and life coach, I will be sharing with you my knowledge, my thoughts, my wisdom, and sometimes my concerns, all flavored with the Word of God, so that it might empower you, encourage you, and equip you. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Pondering Points. Let's get started. I got a point for you. Hey guys, what's up and welcome to Pondering Points podcast. I am your host, Apostle MB. Man, I'm delighted to have you guys joining with me on the podcast on today. Let me just say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you, depending on the time of day that you are joining me, whether you're catching me on the live or whether you are catching me on the replay. Either or, I am honored to have you hanging out with me for these few moments here on today. I pray you all are doing well, you're staying safe, and I hope that you had a great weekend. My weekend, I'll just tell you real quickly, I had a wonderful weekend, had an opportunity to get away for a few days. We left out of here on Thursday morning and went down to one of my favorite places, which is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We went down for our church annual retreat, and we have no special agenda. We just go down there, and it is called a family retreat. And so families went down there and just kind of reconnected and enjoyed themselves. And we all had a wonderful time while we were there. Came back on Sunday, had an awesome time. My wife preached a powerful word on Sunday morning. And while we was there, also celebrated my mother-in-law, my wife's mother's birthday, Minister Christine Jones' birthday that was on Saturday. So we had an awesome time. The weather was beautiful, and just enjoyed ourselves. Got a plenty relaxation. But again, we are honored to have you with us, and we thank you as we are back at it again on this marvelous Monday morning, and excited for what God is going to bring through our hands this week. Well, I've got a point that I want to share with you real quickly, and I promise you I'm going to be out of the way. I be trying, guys. I really be trying to keep this thing within a 15-minute span, but it don't always happen that way. So y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Well, the point I want to share with you today is entitled, Keep It Up. Keep it up. Today's the last day of February. As most of you guys know, we're at the end of the month, and February has always been designated as Black History Month. And this is the time that we celebrate, I like to say we celebrate the movers and the shakers, the trailblazers, the pioneers, the history changers, the ones that have really impacted our life. They have changed history as we know it, and of course the list is so long of people even today. But I believe those pioneers like Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther King and so many others that have, I believe that they set a bar. They set a level for us all. And, you know, oftentimes I look at our generation today, and I wonder sometimes, how would Dr. King feel looking at much that is going on in our Afro-American race, our Black race, our colored race, or whatever one choose to be called or call ourselves. I often wonder how would they feel if they could see sometime the state of things and the state that we're in even today. I believe that those pioneers, those trailblazers, those ones that have gone on before us, and I believe they raised the bar. They set a level. And guys, I think we are obligated as Afro-Americans, as Blacks, as coloreds. I believe that we are obligated to keep that bar up. Don't live below that level that they have established. In all efforts, we should strive to go far beyond that level that they set. Two words that I want to really drop in your hearing, two very familiar words. One word is stand, and the other, or maybe I should say phrases rather, one is stand and the other one is moving. Stand and moving. You know, as I kind of studied some things, there's a thing that I say so many times behind the pulpit. I say it in conversations. And that statement, which I dug into, I found out that the statement was from Alexander Hamilton, which stated, stand for something or you will fall for anything. Stand for something or you will fall for anything. This thing here is about, that statement is about knowing who you are and not being afraid to stand up for something that you believe in. Let me say that again. That statement is about knowing who you are and not being afraid to stand up for something you believe in. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't stand, is what he's saying, you will fall. If you don't stand, you will fall. It is easier, believe this or not, it is easier to fall than it is to stand. Matter of fact, falling requires no energy, wherein standing does. Now, there's a two-sided coin to this word stand, and that two-sided coin is, it deals with our stance, physically standing, but it also deals with our moral or our spiritual stance. Okay, so standing is more than just you physically getting up. But if you really look at it physically, to stand, it takes some time, some strength to come up out of some of these chairs as well. But on the flip side, to sit down, all you got to do is release your strength and you go down. Wherein standing requires a whole lot of stuff, sometimes a lot of strength. I just talked about this on Wednesday night in our Bible study. I think it was Wednesday night, Ephesians 6. And I really, that B clause of verse 13 and that A clause, really two words of verse number 14. And the Apostle Paul said, having done all to stand, stand anyhow. Having done all to stand. In other words, when you have used all the strength that you know and all the knowledge that you know to stand, stand anyhow. Because really what Paul was saying was, and he was telling them, excuse my voice, he was telling them that what you're going to be faced with in your future, the battles that you are going to have to fight, the issues that you're going to have to address, the circumstances that you're going to find yourself in, you're going to need strength to stand. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, in order for us to keep this bar that those pioneers of old, like Dr. King and so many of them have established, it's going to require us to stand. Even as we're faced with the trickery of voter rights and trying to remove our rights and mess with our rights, even with the redistricting things that are going on, we have to make a stand. And I'm so proud of many of our Afro-American sisters and brothers in our legislative governments of North Carolina and our Senate and our Congress, those that are standing forward and representing us at the local level. I'm so proud of them and that what that stance that they are making. And many I have talked with and communicated with and conversated with out of the Senate and out of the House of Representatives and our leadership and how they are doing their best. And sometimes that stance requires sometimes you standing alone, but never let that stop you from standing. Even if you're having to stand alone, you stand anyhow. And standing requires some things, guys. It requires some things. Couple points that I'm gonna throw out, and I'm about finished. It requires faith in God. When you stand, man, I look at many, especially Dr. King. He had to have faith in God. He had to have faith in God in order to stand against the stuff that they dealt with of those days. Standing requires strength of your own. Man, you got to have some willpower for yourself. You got to have some pride for yourself. You got to have some stuff for yourself. Everybody can't do it for you. Some things you got to do for yourself. Even if you are looking for a job, you got to stand strong. And if you get a no today, don't go home and shut down. Get back up and head out again. Keep pushing till you're able to accomplish the goals that you set aside. Knowledge of the situation is the third thing a third point of strength that you would need. Knowledge of the situation. You know, most people that jump up and run out into battles, most of them run out unbeknowingly, don't even know why they're fighting. And I've seen this happen. People get mad and get into quarrels over stuff, and they don't even know the real story. You got to have knowledge of what it is that you are standing for. And then standing also requires help from others. It requires help from others. Man, you always need a support team. You always need a support team around you. Someone that's going to encourage you. Someone that's going to tell you, hey, get up out that bed. It's time to go to work. Someone that's going to tell you, come on, get up. Let's try it again. Come on, let's press into this thing. You always need help from those, but you got to have the right type of help. Then you also need another point and final point. You need a plan, a vision. If a person failed to plan, they plan on failing. Let me say that again. If a person failed to plan, they plan on failing. And this brings me now into the second portion of what I want to talk about. Keep it up. So keeping it up, we got to stand. But then also keeping it up requires us plans. It requires us vision. You know what? A plan and a vision, and the Bible talks about having a plan, having a vision rather. It talks about write the vision down. You know what that really says? Prepare yourself for forward motion. Prepare yourself to move forward. That means I'm in preparation of where I'm going. I'm setting my goal out to where I'm going. You know, when you take a trip, most of the time, especially when you don't know where you're going, you get that GPS. You know what we most times do today, we grab our phone and put it into the GPS and boom, that thing will give you the best route to your destination. It gives you your best route, and you can cater that thing, keep me off the interstate, avoid wrecks and all that other kind of stuff. And man, that thing will take you places and take you around, but here to get you to that destination according to what you have put in the plan. Dr. Martin Luther King, who we, widely celebrate, we celebrated him in the month of January for his birthday, and many make his life and efforts to focus in February for Black history. And of all of his speeches that Dr. King have done, one stands out. Many, and don't misunderstand me, all of them stands out. All of them impacts my life. But this one here, I really believe, have always stood strong. Once I found out this speech, it really stood out. And it says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't fly, if you can't leave the ground, stay on the ground, but run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Look now. But by all means, keep moving. By all means, keep moving. Exodus 14 and verse number 15. Moses them was faced with an issue. And I'm closing with this. As any person, as you strive to be something and do something and become something or keep something up, you will always be faced with obstacles. And the children of Israel, headed to the promised land, ran into their first obstacle in Exodus 14. And they were having panic attacks, as we normally do. They were upset. Why did you bring us out here to die? And all this other stuff. They looking at the danger behind them, seeing the obstacle in front of them. And Moses is telling them to stand still, see the salvation of God. And God spoke up in verse number 15 and said, why cry to me? Speak to the children of Israel that they may move forward. Some of you guys listening to me today have come to obstacles in life, and it seems like you're going to have to put your vision on hold. You're going to have to put your dream on hold. You're going to have to put your plans on hold. But I want to encourage you today. You've got to speak to yourself. That's all Moses was, all God was telling Moses. Moses, you are part of this group. Speak to yourselves and tell yourselves, move forward. Keep it up. I've set a bar for y'all. I've opened up a door. I've provided a way out for you. Now keep it moving. Move forward. People like Dr. King and so many of them, Rosa Parks, so many of them, they provided the door for us to move out of. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need to stop. And we have to look at this future generation that we are around, and we supposed to be impacted. And we've got to encourage this generation, this future generation, our future doctors and lawyers. We've got to encourage them, guys, that they got to keep moving forward. They got to keep pressing on. They got to keep pushing. And how sometimes we got to do it, we got to speak to them, speak to ourselves, and say, move forward. And if you learn to do that, you'll get to where you need to go at. You'll accomplish what you need to accomplish when you do that. So guys, if you don't remember nothing else today, stand and move forward. You can't move forward until you learn this thing. And if you do that, man, it'll impact and shift your day. And God knows it'll shift your week and your life. I pray that you have a wonderful day. I hope that helped you out today. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it in the ears of this next generation. Keep reminding them. Remind them who they are, what they can become. Keep reminding them, don't let them fall below the bar or the radar that our pioneers, our trailblazers, our changers, those that have impacted our current life, don't let this next generation fall below that bar. Keep them encouraged. Keep them pushing, standing, and moving forward. That's all I have for you today, guys. I pray you have a wonderful day and a fantastic week, and I look forward to you catching me on next week for another Pounding Points. Until then, be blessed, be safe. Shalom.